Kairos and Chronos, it's the difference between a reactive schedule and one driven by urgency, and an intentional schedule, which is driven by purpose. We talked about the FOMO trap. If you don't know what FOMO means, it's not anything nasty, really. It just means the fear of missing out. And you may have heard that terminology before, but it's something that a lot of times, probably 99.9% of the time, I think all of us as salespeople have that fear of we're missing something if we're not there present or taking the phone call or doing whatever we need to do. We feel like we're going to miss something if we're not there. One phrase I gave last week that I think is really important, and I want to say it again: fear. It's fear that's dressed up as professionalism. All right. So we talked about the Kairos question. What does the season require of me? And 3 steps to start protecting your time this week. How many things are on your plate right now that you said yes to that you probably should have said no to? Nobody needs to answer out loud, but how many things can you think of in your life right now that you wish, I really wish I hadn't committed to that? Maybe it's a committee you joined. Maybe it's a favor that you agreed to do. Think on this one. Maybe it's a client you took knowing that they were not going to be a good fit for how you do business. Maybe it's a meeting you accepted out of obligation, something that sounded important 6 months ago, but now it just feels like a weight and a burden. I will be honest with you, most of us are carrying a load that is significantly heavier than it should be, not because of a difficult market, and it's not really because of bad luck, but it's because we said yes when we should have said no. And here's what makes this so hard for people in sales. We are wired to say yes. We are relationship people. We care about people. We don't want to disappoint anyone. We don't want to miss an opportunity, and we don't want to be the person who said no when everyone else said yes. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Okay. It should, because it's the same FOMO we talked about last week. It's just wearing a different outfit. So last week it was the fear of missing a call, skipping a closing, maybe missing a home inspection. This week it's the fear of missing an opportunity, the fear of disappointing someone, the fear of being seen as difficult or uncommitted. It's the same fear, just a different situation. So we say yes, and we say it again and again and again until our calendar is completely full, our pipeline is empty, and then we wonder how we got so busy going nowhere. But here's the truth that most productivity or time management books will never tell you. And if you don't write anything else down, I would love for you to write this and remember it. Every yes is a no to something else. Every yes is a no to something else. When you say yes to that committee meeting on Tuesday morning, you are saying no to your prospecting block. When you say yes to the client who drains 3 times as much as energy as anyone else, you're saying no to the 3 ideal clients you could have served in the same time. When you say yes to every request that lands in your inbox, you're saying no to the Kairos activities that we identified last week that are going to help carry you through this year, make this year successful for you. The question is never whether you are saying no. You are always saying no to something. The question is whether you're saying no to the right things. So I'll give you a little personal story of mine. And when I say this, I don't want this to sound like a negative reflection on networking groups or BNI, because it really is not. They serve a purpose and they're wonderful for a lot of people. But I did this for many years ago. And what I had to look at is I'm saying yes to a Friday morning meeting between 8 to 10 o'clock every single Friday and a commitment to being there. And when I looked at what I was giving up and what I was saying no to so I could maintain that commitment, the commitment that I was saying yes to, it was giving me value. It's not like it was a bad thing. And that's the other thing. A lot of things we say yes to, they're not bad things. They're good things. but I was saying no to something that could give me so much more in value for my time. All right. So again, this is not pointed directly at them. I'm just sharing with you my story. And I want you to start thinking as we go through this, what are you saying yes to that you're saying no to something else that could give you a whole lot more return on investment? Every yes is a no to something else. The question is not whether you're saying no, it is whether you are saying no intentionally. And I hope that makes sense and lands. So let me show you something about Jesus that I think is the one most misunderstood aspects of his leadership. Jesus was not accessible to everyone all the time when he walked this planet. And that was intentional. We talked last week about chapter 5 of Luke, how the crowds were growing, and even though they were growing and surrounding him, he still withdrew. I'm going to give you another one. This comes from Mark chapter 1. It says, Jesus, and I want you to understand when you read this verse, he had just had a pretty extraordinary day. He healed Simon's mother-in-law. I don't know if Simon was happy about that, but he brought healing to Simon's mother-in-law, whether Simon enjoyed that or not. But at the end of doing that, the whole town was gathered at the door of where Simon Peter lived. He healed many who were sick. It was a phenomenal day of ministry and impact that he made on other people. And then what did he do? In verse 35, it says, very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Then it says Simon and his companions went looking for him. And when they found him, they exclaimed, everyone's looking for you. I want you to pause for just a second and apply that to your business, because sometimes we feel like everybody's looking for us. New leads, new people that need stuff from us. In our case, as lenders, sometimes it's underwriters that need us. It could be an appraiser that needs us. It could be a realtor that needs us. It could be clients that need us. But sometimes we feel everyone is looking for us. Here's Jesus's reply to Simon Peter, which I love. Let us go somewhere else, to the nearby villages, so I can preach there also. That's why I've come. What did he do? He said no. Like, could he have stayed? Would it have been bad had he stayed? No. He could have continued to heal people, to minister. None of it wasn't bad. Just like what I was saying a second ago, B&I, for me to stay in that, it's not like it's a bad thing. It's a good cause, and it can help me grow my business. But when you say yes to the wrong thing, you're then saying no to the thing that is your purpose and what your goals are and what you've been called to do. And I really hope you grasp that, because what Jesus knew in this time was he was on a mission and a purpose for something different than where he had been. He had to say no to stay on purpose. Like when I read that and understand it, like this is the example that he gave me to live life. Honestly, it's freeing. It's like, it's okay to say no, because it's going to give me the opportunity to say yes to the right things. So it's a ruthless yes, saying no to good things, even great things, so you can say yes to the right things. Here's what I want you to understand, and I'm sure I'm being a little redundant, but I think it's worth pounding this, because I needed it pounded in my brain too. Jesus never said no out of selfishness. He never said no out of selfishness. He said no out of clarity. He knew exactly what he was called to do, and that clarity made the no possible. See, most of us, me included, like to say yes to everything because we lack clarity. We have not answered the Kairos question deeply enough to know what the season actually requires. So we fill our calendar with quote unquote good things, and then we wonder why we never make real progress on the great things. Does that resonate with anybody besides just me? like, like when I read this and see the story of how Jesus operated with this in this particular situation, like, man, this is me. Except I'm doing the opposite of what Jesus does. I'm like, yeah, everything's going great here. Why change? I'm going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and just stay put. But that's not what he asked me to do. Right? So that's the story in the example that Jesus gives us. And I think it's just powerful as we consider how he operated. So, how do you actually do this? How do you develop the ability to say no to good things without feeling guilty, without damaging relationships, and without missing the opportunities that actually matter? So, I want to give you a simple 3-question framework before you say yes to any significant ask in your time. Run it through these 3 questions. Question 1, is this aligned with my Kairos activities? So go back to what we talked about last week. Last week I had or asked everyone to write down 3 to 5 Kairos activities. These are the things that if you do them consistently, your business grows. Does this opportunity connect to those activities, or does it compete with them? If it competes, that is your answer. No. All right. So that's question 1. Question 2, is this the right season for this? There are things that are genuinely good and genuinely worth doing, just not right now. The question is not just, is this good, but is this the right season for this? Right now, your season, honestly, probably should be focusing on finishing 2026 strong. Does this opportunity serve that season or distract from it? It's a very valid question, right? So, just a quick example yesterday. I know all of you realtors get stuff like this all the time. You get people, they filter in, you think it's a lead, you call it, it's not a lead, it's somebody's trying to sell you something. And just yesterday, we had this opportunity, right? Quote unquote opportunity to put our name and telephone number and website or whatever else on this piece of marketing event at a local golf club. It's not the right time for me to focus on that. Are there things that I should be marketing and doing? Absolutely. But does that match the right season for me to finish 2026 strong and invest in that? The answer was a quick no. I didn't have to think about it for very long because I've got clarity on it. The answer is no, right? So think on things like that. Does it serve your Kairos activities? Is it the right season? And then last question, number 3, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? Make the trade-off explicit, like name it out loud. If I say yes to this Tuesday morning meeting, I am saying no to my prospecting time block. Is that trade worth it? And sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes an opportunity comes along that is so clearly aligned that it's worth temporarily adjusting something else. But make that decision consciously, not by default. I would just challenge you to run every significant ask through these 3 questions, and I promise you, your calendar will start looking very different within 30 days. Now let's talk about the part everyone is wanting to talk about, and that is, how do I do this? How do I make this happen? So I'm going to give you 4 different scripts that you can use so you can actually say no to someone without feeling like you're letting them down or you're damaging the relationship. Nobody, even if it's, I've got a couple of rude clients right now. However, I don't want to damage my relationship with them. I don't want I don't want things to end on a sour note. No, nobody in sales wants that to happen. But sometimes that's the real barrier to us in sales. It's not that people do not know that they should say no. It's we just don't know how to, right? So here are 4 scripts for saying no gracefully in some different situations. And I would either challenge you to write this down or just take a screenshot of your computer because it should be up. But 4 scripts for a graceful no. Here's the appreciative no. I really appreciate you thinking of me for this, and I want to be honest with you. I'm not able to give this the attention it deserves right now. I would rather say no up front than say yes and underdeliver. So you use this when someone asks you to take on something that you genuinely cannot serve well right now. It's very graceful. Here's The not right now, no. This is something I'm genuinely interested in, just not in the season. Can we revisit this in the fall when my calendar opens up? So use this when the opportunity is real, but the timing is wrong. All right. If any of you know Betty Lee, she was one I probably put off for 2.5 to 3 years before I finally met with a lady. It's just the season wasn't right. I think it's something I was genuinely interested in. It just wasn't the right season to be involved. Right. So think on things like that. So the next one, the referral no. You know, I want you to approach this one with an open mind. All right. I am not the right person for this right now, but I know someone who would be perfect. Can I connect you with them? Use this when you can serve the relationship without serving the request. And sometimes, quite honestly, this may be an actual client that you're saying no to. All right. I'm not the right person for this right now, but I know someone who would be perfect. Can I connect you with them? Here's the boundary no. This is for the client or colleague who takes more than their share. I want to make sure I'm serving you at the highest level. And to do that, I need to be honest with you about how I work best. Here's what I can commit to, and here's what I need from you in return. Use this when a client or colleague is taking more than their share of your time and energy. And I think we all experience clients like that, right? Um, but all four of those very graceful if they're delivered the correct way. So notice what all four of these have in common. Number one, they're honest. You're not being dishonest. You're not moving from a place of lack of integrity. They're very honest. They're kind. They respect the relationship. They don't over explain, which is a lot of times what I know I'm really guilty of. I talk too much in times when I'm trying to get out of something. You don't need to over explain, and you don't need to apologize excessively. You're just being honest and being genuine and being authentic. A no delivered with warmth and clarity is almost always received better than what you expect it to be. Most people respect someone who knows their limits and honors them. What people don't respect, though, is someone who says yes and then disappears or under delivers. Did you get that? No one respects a person who says yes and disappears or under delivers. I can give you the name. I'm not right now, but I can give you the name of an HVAC company I would not recommend to anybody right now because they have done all of this. We've been without AC for 2.5 weeks. Supposed to be coming today. We'll see. But someone that says they're going to do something and takes you on, yet they disappear under deliver, that's a lack of integrity. You're so much better to gracefully say no or say, we can't serve you right now. Okay. So the graceful no protects the relationship far better than a reluctant yes ever could. I promise you. So I want to give you one final practical tool from today's session, and I call it the personal no list. I want to be clear. The most intentional high performers I've ever studied, whether they're selling real estate or doing mortgage loans, in sales, in leadership, they all have a list of things they simply don't do. Not because those things are wrong. I want to be clear about that too. It's not, again, because those things are wrong. It's not because they're lazy, but because they've gotten clear enough about what their priorities are that they can define the boundaries of their time in advance. So here are some examples of what personal no lists might look like for a realtor or a loan officer. I don't take calls after 7 p.m. unless it's a genuine emergency. Wow, I know that probably puts fear in a lot of people just even reading that line. However, if you've got kids and a family, I think you can set that boundary. There's a very successful realtor my team has worked with for many years who had a kid that played baseball, travel baseball. She made a commitment. She's not working at night. She's not working on the weekends, yet she still was an amazing performer. If you're looking at units and volume, she made that decision. So I'm not saying everybody needs to do that. I'm just saying make some boundaries on some things. Number two, I do not check email during my morning prospecting block, or I don't take on clients who are not pre-approved or genuinely motivated. I'll repeat that for the people back in the back of the room. I don't take on clients who are not pre-approved or not genuinely motivated. Like, why would you want to go hang out with someone for half hour, an hour drive to and from, and they're not committed enough to go get pre-approved first? So, um, let's rephrase that one though. I do not take on clients who are not pre-approved by the legacy team of Integrity Mortgage or not genuinely motivated. I like that version better. All right. I don't schedule meetings during my highest energy hours. I protect those for income producing activity. That's huge. Like if you're going to have a prospecting time block, commit to it and do it. All you have to do when the home inspector says, I have 10 o'clock at Tuesday available. I'm sorry, I already have an appointment. Stay committed to the things that are going to keep your 2026 moving in the right direction. I do not attend inspections when a simple scheduling adjustment would free up that time. It's kind of what I was just referencing a little bit. All right. So your personal no list is not about being rigid. It's not about being inflexible. It's simply about being intentional. It's about deciding in advance when you're calm and clear rather than in the moment when someone else is in front of you and the pressure to say yes is real. So I want you to write down right now. We're going to pause for about 30 seconds because I want this to be something that you're applying right now before we go away. I want you to write down three things for your personal no list right now. Three boundaries that, if you honor them consistently, would protect your Kairos activities and change the quality of your work and your life. Write them down and then put them somewhere where you will see them. Maybe it's a post-it note you put on the side of your computer or on the keypad, but put it down somewhere where you see it. And then the hard part is honor it. Just say no. I want to push back on something you might be feeling right now. You might be thinking, this all sounds great, but, and here's the but, there always is one. The agents who say yes to everything, aren't they the agents who are also getting all the business? The ones who answer every call, the ones who attend every closing and never push back, aren't they the ones the clients love? I want to challenge you on that thought. The agents clients love most are not necessarily the ones who said yes to everything. They are the ones who showed up fully, delivered at the highest level, communicated with clarity, and made them feel like the most important person in the world during the time they committed to them. One of my mentors in the past, I'll never forget ever meeting with him for a while. And he looked at me and said, Jonathan, who's the most important person? Who do you think the most important person in my life is right now? And I'm like, well, surely it's your spouse. You guys have been married like 30 plus years. It's got to be your spouse. He said, the key thing I said was right now. I'm meeting with you right now. You're the most important person in my life at the moment. And it was just, it hit me when he said that, that is that how my clients feel when I'm with them, when I'm talking to them. And like the only way I can be that committed to them and in tune with them and align with them is to be free from all the other stuff that I say yes to. Like saying no to other things helps me be this person to this client during the right time. You cannot show up fully for everyone when you have said yes to everything. You just can't. The math on that doesn't work. The ruthless yes is not ruthless at all. It just looks that way, maybe from the outside, but from the inside, from the place of clarity and purpose, the no is actually an act of love. It's love for the people you're called to serve. It's love for your family who needs you present and not depleted. It's love for the clients who deserve your best, not the leftovers of someone who said yes to everything and has nothing left. Jesus said no so he could say yes to what mattered most. What's the one thing you need to say no to this week so you can say yes to what matters most in your business and your life? Thank you guys so much for being here, and hope you have a great rest of the day.